Right now at 6, a big funding boost for Neosho as the city gets nearly $2 million for flood protection.
And thunderstorms with an incredible amount of lightning pushing through the area this morning. We do have the chance for strong to severe thunderstorms today as well. Details coming up.
Plus, the CEO of a global company has some inspiring words of advice for students at Pitt State.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOA Morning News at 6 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's Tuesday, September the 22nd, and we do have thunderstorms, the 23rd, I apologize. And we have thunderstorms pushing through the area this morning. We're going to start with that live look from downtown Pittsburgh, where again, it's just an incredible amount of lightning with these storms. In fact, across our entire area, we're up to 731 lightning strikes at this point. MoDOT camera 20th and range line in Joplin, drying out at least briefly, but more thunderstorms on the way. In fact, it looks like I'm looking at the other radar screen here. We have a new one developing. No watches, no warnings at this time, but we are monitoring all of these storms very closely as they continue to push through the area. So yeah, there's the newer one I was talking about that just happened to notice. It's right there on the west side of the city. A lot of these storms developed very quickly. I mean, within the last hour, you can see how they've continued to grow. And if we go back even 3 hours ago, you could see where we had nothing, and then these things just flared up very quickly. A lot of lightning here. So Carthage, Mount Vernon, thunderstorms out there. We have new ones, it looks like, developing. Yeah, just to see, look at that, just in the last 20 minutes south of Neosho. Back into Ottawa County, we have thunderstorms stretching back from Skiatook back into Newada. South of Bartlesville, we've got ones west of Bartlesville into Osage County. Thunderstorms through Parsons, or south of Parsons, going into Oswego, into Labette County. Crawford County, southwestern Barton County, we're monitoring these storms very closely as well. And as we head up to the north, we got this one south of Iola. These ones have shown some signs of weakening, but we're also keeping an eye on all of this development that's taking place further west because all of this is going to play a part in our thunderstorm chances as we go through this morning and again into the afternoon. Any of the storms we have this morning could become strong to severe, and any storms we have later today, we also have a severe risk associated with that as well. In fact, this is for later today. Now, the day 1 outlook that we talked about yesterday will carry us through 7 a.m. actually has that level 2 out of 5 risk through southeast Kansas and into northeastern Oklahoma for this morning, and that's why we're monitoring these storms pretty closely because they're moving into an unstable air mass that could fuel them and help them intensify a bit. So that's why we're going to watch them very closely. Otherwise, for this afternoon, we do have the isolated to scattered tornado risk. We also have the same for large hail and damaging wind gusts and these hatch marks in our far southern edges here. That's the potential for very large hail that could come from some of these storms later today. So by the lunch hour, this complex we're dealing with right now should be east of I-49 by noon, but that will then clear the air and allow for maybe 1 or 2 lines of storms to develop, one through southeast Kansas and this one south of I-44. This is the one that some of that severe weather hazard outlook there is for, is this line that could intensify pretty quickly and bring severe weather. These storms could also bring some strong to severe thunderstorms as well. And as we head later into the evening, that moves out and we'll have scattered storms overnight, but our severe threat drops off significantly overnight tonight and into tomorrow. We also have flood watches that'll continue through tomorrow morning. For a good portion of the area, our temperatures very mild this morning. Now, where the rain's really setting in, you can see we've fallen back into the upper 60s, but even in other locations where we've been dealing with this rain, we're still low to mid 70s, so we're still muggy. The air mass is still unstable, still supportive of thunderstorms for us today. So kids heading out the door, like I said, if they walk to school, maybe you can take them up to the school or you can find them a ride this morning because that would be a lot safer. This lightning, again, is very dangerous. Thunderstorms pretty much all day, but it also locks our temperatures in, just kind of hovering in the low to mid 70s. So that's about what we're looking at today. Now, if you get a little more sunshine later with one of these breaks, you could go upper 70s, but I think most of us will top out at about the mid 70s with a west breeze at 5 to 10. And again, just double checking, no watches, no warnings for any of this activity at this time. If that changes, we will certainly let you know. We'll talk more about our storms today and what we're expecting with thunderstorms tomorrow here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks. Well, 4 soldiers are dead after a Black Hawk helicopter crashed near a Joint Base Lewis McChord in Washington state last week. Among the victims is Chief Warrant Officer Andrew Cully from Sparta, Missouri. The 35-year-old trained at Camp Crowder in Neosho during his early 20s and graduated from Missouri National Guard Air Assault School in 2012. Cully was commissioned as an Army aviation officer from Missouri State University in 2013. All 4 soldiers were part of the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment when their helicopter crashed during a routine training flight last Wednesday. And Neosho secures nearly $2 million in state disaster mitigation flooding to tackle flooding problems. Now, the city is one of 15 Missouri communities receiving grants totaling more than $16 million from the state's Community Development Block Grant Program. The funding stems from recovery efforts following the 2017 presidentially declared disaster storms that impacted the region. Neosho's grant will build new retention ponds aimed at easing floodwaters that have damaged neighborhoods and businesses in the past.
Excited about it as a city. The first 3 projects have, like I said, have taken several people out of the floodplain and the floodway. And if we can see the same type of results from this project that if we've seen any other and remove some of our businesses from a floodplain, that significantly helps the city in multiple ways. Number one, our vendors aren't having to pay for flood insurance, and number 2, it opens up areas that we cannot develop right now to development.
Well, the city of Neosho is currently in the early stages of planning and hopes to have the project completed by July of 2026. Authorities in Galena, Kansas offer an update to a landfill story we brought you about a year ago. Last year, several people in Galena complained about a bad smell coming from a landfill in the area. The KDHE and the EPA investigated the source of the smell and ways to reduce it. Authorities say as a result of the investigation, lime was added to the landfill to mitigate the smell, and that addition has proved successful. The plan now is to monitor any reduction in detectable odor and to resume layering the area with lime treatment when the odor becomes noticeable. Authorities also say even when the odor is noticeable, they have yet to detect any harmful levels. Well, Enercon Engineering marks 50 years in business, and CEO Larry Tangle shared the company's story at Pitt State University yesterday evening. What started by his father in a garage in Peoria, Illinois, has grown into a global operation with products in 110 countries and facilities in 12. Tangle talked about how the company got started, the culture, the philosophy of running businesses, and how to expand globally. Tangle hopes what he shares can help entrepreneurs start and maintain their own business.
No one gets fired at Enercon or recommended or demoted because they make a mistake. Mistakes happen. We understand that. People get in trouble for not owning their mistake, for not declaring what they did, and for hiding what they're doing. So our fundamental ethic is act and then own your action.
The event was part of the university's Vision to Venture Entrepreneurship Speaker Series. And let's look at this morning's top stories and weather coming up on the KOAM Morning News. We get a rare inside look at the B-2 bombers, which recently flew an international mission from a base in Missouri. Plus, new research links alcohol consumption to suicide rates. And we're tracking thunderstorms. Chris has another look at your forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Time now, 6:08. We'll be right back. Well, topping World Watch, get ready for a rare up-close look at the B-2 bombers used to target Iran's nuclear facilities in June. The aircrafts were part of a surprise U.S. attack on 3 nuclear sites in Iran. The bombers took off from Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri, which is where Ian Lee got a unique access to the planes and their weapons.
We're entering one of the most secure military bases in the United States.
This is the flight line of Whiteman Air Force Base.
It's home to the B-2 Spirit, America's most advanced active bomber and the plane used in the strike on Iran last June.
I think in terms of my lifetime as an airman, this will be one of the most consequential raids that we've executed.
7 B-2 bombers, each carrying a crew of 2, flew 36 hours round trip to hit Iranian nuclear sites in Operation Midnight Hammer.
So the B-2 is very advanced.
Colonel Josh Whittla oversaw the mission. He commands the 509th Bomb Wing at Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri.
We try to adjust our sleep cycles prior to the mission, and then on the mission you trade off as a team.
The B-2 was over enemy territory for less than a half hour.
What was going through your mind as your crews were flying?
Huge amount of emotion. We were all cheering over in the squadron building when we knew they were safe.
This is one of the bombers that flew the mission, the Spirit of California.
From the outside, the B-2 looks high-tech, but when you crawl into the cockpit, it resembles a plane built 30 years ago. With its knobs, buttons, and dials, it even has a microwave, toilet, and cup holders.
The attack on Iran involved multiple 30,000-pound GBU-57s. This is the first time we're getting a close look at the massive ordnance penetrator.
This is the GBU-57 that was designed for this mission, for this aircraft. The B-2 is the only one that can carry it.
That's a big bomb.
It is.
Colonel Jared Kenish heads the National Guard's 131st Bomb Wing, which also flew in the mission.
So those are the fins that guide the weapon to its target. So once it drops from the aircraft, those will pop out.
14 pilots flew the raid, but it took much more than that to be successful.
And there's 4,000 total force airmen across hundreds of specialties. So when you look at a complex, global mission, all 4,000 of those people are working in unison, in secrecy, to make the mission happen.
Now, the B-2 is the present, and in the future, Whiteman will be home to the next generation stealth bomber. The B-21 is currently being tested, and when asked the difference between the two planes, military officials said the B-2 is like a car phone from the 80s, and the B-21 is the latest iPhone. Well, still to come, Bill Nye, the science guy, gets his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Plus, we're tracking thunderstorms today. Chris has another look at your forecast. Good morning, I'm Elise Snowy with your KOAM News update. 4 soldiers are dead after a Black Hawk helicopter crashed during training in Washington state. Among the victims, a Sparta, Missouri soldier who trained in Neosho. Chief Warrant Officer Andrew Cully trained at Camp Crowder and graduated from Missouri State University. Neosho is one of 15 Missouri communities receiving grants totaling more than $16 million from the state's Community Development Block Grant program. The funding stems from recovery efforts following the 2017 presidentially declared disaster storms that impacted the region. Neosho's grant will build new retention ponds aimed at easing floodwaters that have damaged neighborhoods and businesses in the past.
And thunderstorms will persist through the afternoon. Some of these could be strong to severe. And with the rain and the cloud cover, temperatures capping out about the mid-70s for us. Showers, thunderstorms continue through the evening, but as we go late evening and overnight, they'll become scattered and our severe threat will drop off. We'll be in the low to mid-60s. It's more scattered storms for our Wednesday, but again, the severe threat very low. We don't have any areas highlighted at this point for Wednesday, mid-70s. Upper 70s on Thursday as we begin to dry out, so a pretty decent day. Temperatures warming up a bit as we head into the upcoming weekend, into the low to mid-80s.
The man who made science cool is headed to Hollywood. Meanwhile, Baby Yoda is returning to the big screen. Gwen Baumgartner has your Eye on Entertainment report.
Bill Nye, the science guy, spent years teaching kids about science and stars with his iconic television program. And now he's getting a star of his own.
Good morning, Hollywood!
The scientist turned author and TV presenter earned a star this week on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, joining the cosmic ranks of Elvis and Marilyn Monroe. The selection committee honoring Nye for, quote, his dedication in making science accessible and entertaining for all ages.
Thank you for changing the world, one dad joke, and one science experiment at a time.
In a galaxy far, far away, the galactic empire has fallen.
Yes! Impressive.
Here on Earth, this new trailer just dropped for The Mandalorian and Grogu, the latest Star Wars film. Director Jon Favreau is teaming up with Pedro Pascal and Baby Yoda to bring the action-packed movie to life. And get those lightsabers ready. The Mandalorian and Grogu hits theaters next May. Director Christopher Nolan is no stranger to honors and awards, winning 2 Oscars for Oppenheimer and earning nominations for Dunkirk and Inception. But it was an announcement this week that he calls one of the greatest honors of his career. Nolan was just elected to lead the Directors Guild of America, a labor union representing nearly 20,000 members. Nolan's new job comes only a few weeks after filming wrapped on his latest film, The Odyssey. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Gwen Baumgardner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
All right, let's take it over to Chris for another look at the forecast.
Yeah, thunderstorms continuing to push through the area this morning. Again, nothing severe, but just an incredible amount of lightning from these storms. So make sure you're playing it safe as you head to school, head to work this morning. We do have the chances for strong to severe thunderstorms throughout today. We're going to break down those details and the timing on those storms when the KOAM Morning News returns. Time now is 6:19. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 6:21 now on this Tuesday morning. Again, a quick look. No watches, no warnings at this time. I know some of you waking up to a very loud morning, but that's simply because we have these thunderstorms pushing through, producing just an incredible amount of lightning. It's come down just over 600 lightning strikes in our area. Now, it's still a lot, but earlier this morning, we breached 950 lightning strikes with this activity. So we're going to start here into southwestern Missouri, where we've got heavy thunderstorms around Mount Vernon, Carthage, just north of Joplin, toward Carl Junction, Jasper, just south of Lamar, but you're going to be getting in on it before too much longer. We head south, we've got this thunderstorm that's developed on the south side of Neosho, and the reason it's important is we go back to about 5:30, and you can just see how quickly it kind of flared up. Got some heavier rain just west of Seneca, back toward Miami. More thunderstorm activity down into Newata, Craig, and Washington counties, and just outside of that, so Delaware County, you'll be getting in on it. Miami, Ottawa County, more thunderstorms headed your way. Got some into the Lebec County area south of Oswego. New thunderstorms over here just to the south of Sedan, and then just this thunderstorm as well. It's moving into western Barton County and through Crawford County. Again, an incredible amount of lightning, and we can actually kind of highlight just Crawford County alone. 94 lightning strikes. That's why we've been talking this morning. If your kids walk to school, maybe you can take them to school this morning, or you can get them a ride so that they're not having to walk in this business. Or if they're at the bus stop, keep them in the car till the bus gets there. Whatever the case may be. Back behind it, lightning has dropped significantly. Still some moderate to heavy rain. Burlington, Yates Center, Iola, Chanute, Fredonia. Still dealing with some heavy rain, but the lightning counts dropped. The thunderstorm activity, again, flared up very quickly. Right through here, stretching all the way back toward Branson, now just south of Springfield. And it's in this shape. We have new storms that you can see that are flaring up here southwest of Delaware County. We've got this activity here that's going to flare up just east of 35. And we have all of this west of Wichita, west of 35, that we're going to have to keep an eye on, because right now, again, we do not have any active warnings out there, but we do have that concern for strong to severe thunderstorms. Now, again, the way these outlooks work is a little complicated sometimes. Day one, which was yesterday, runs until about 7 a.m. So this is picking up on what will become day one at 7 a.m. today. So we still have, there's a level 2 out of 5 risk that covers the bulk of southeast Kansas, northeastern Oklahoma. And that's why, of course, we're monitoring these storms. Into the afternoon, we still have the level 1 and level 2 out of 5 risk. So an isolated tornado or two cannot be ruled out. And then we also have the concerns for large hail and damaging wind gusts, and in these hatch marks in our southern counties, that's a concern for very large hail as we roll into this afternoon. So round 1 is what we're getting now. That should be east of I-49 by the lunch hour, but then we'll have new development taking place possibly in 2 different zones. We're looking at a line of storms to start developing this afternoon as we head into southeastern Kansas, and another one that'll develop just almost right on the I-44 corridor. So here's that one. Here's that one. This is where the greater concern for severe weather will be this afternoon into the evening hours, but this line of storms could also be strong to severe as it pushes off to the east. And then once we get into the late evening hours, our severe threat begins to wind down. We get a little pause, and then we'll have scattered showers and thunderstorms overnight tonight, continuing into our Wednesday. So we'll start off pretty soggy. They'll be more scattered than what we're seeing right now, but thunderstorm chances will continue through a good portion of our Wednesday as well. But at this time, we do not have any areas highlighted for severe weather as we roll into Wednesday, but you can see we do still have those thunderstorms until we head late evening Wednesday, and they begin to clear out, and then we begin to clear out heading into our Thursday. All right, flood watches also for a good portion of the area. These will continue at the latest through tomorrow. Flooding, of course, is going to be concerned. You saw the Skywatch storm tracker. It's a lot of heavy rain. These thunderstorms throughout the day will be capable of producing some very heavy rainfall, so it's something we want to watch very closely as well. So thunderstorms, obviously, through the morning, through the day. The clouds and the rain do one thing. They're going to lock our temperatures in. We're going to be hovering in the low 70s through the morning. I think we'll be struggling to meet about the mid 70s for highs. Some locations, if you get a little more sunshine or a slightly longer break in between these pockets of storms, you might make the upper 70s, but still, it's not going to warm up that much. We'll have west winds 5 to 10 outside of any thunderstorms, of course. Scattered storms, as I mentioned, through the evening, back down into the low to mid 60s tonight. Scattered storms tomorrow, mid 70s. A little warmer Thursday, upper 70s. We'll start warming up into the weekend, low to mid 80s as we begin to dry out. That's checking your forecast. We'll, of course, continue to monitor these storms, bring you any updates as they come in. For now, we're going to send it over to Elise with Health Watch.
All right, thanks. Well, the more alcohol people drink, the greater their risk for suicide. An analysis published by JAMA found that for every 1 liter per capita increase in alcohol consumption, the suicide mortality rate increases by more than 3%. The impact was the same for both men and women. Alcohol is a well-established risk factor for suicide. And patient death rates often rise after hospitals are acquired by private equity firms. Research published in the Annals of Internal Medicine found that staffing and salary cuts often implemented after a private equity firm takes over impacts the care of patients at a hospital. The results is often reduced capacity for high-risk patients, shorter stays in intensive care units, and more transfers to other hospitals. Well, not enough women are being screened for anxiety and depression before and after pregnancy. A study of large urban medical centers published in JAMA found only 3 to 14% of women were screened for anxiety and depression, and 50 to 70% of women with symptoms of mental health disorders don't get a diagnosis. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, college students at PSU now have more options for their degree plan.
And we have thunderstorms pushing through the area. Nothing severe at this time, but it is a possibility as we head through the day. We'll have a look at your forecast coming up.
A program at Crowder College hopes to encourage the next generation of great writers. I'm Samantha Walker, and I'll have that story coming up.
4 States Most Watched News starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KLAM Morning News at 6:30. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is now Tuesday, September the 23rd. And again, we've got thunderstorms pushing through the area this morning. Quite a bit of lightning with these storms as well. But so far, nothing severe out there, but that's still a possibility as we go through today. Let's start with a live look downtown Pittsburgh. When you go, it doesn't take long of watching, and you'll see the volume of lightning that we're getting. We still have a nice, pretty intense storm west of Pittsburgh right now we're keeping an eye on. Quick look at the MoDOT camera in Joplin. Getting lightning, not necessarily in Joplin itself at this moment, but lightning around the area. And that's the biggest concern at this point, is with the dangerous lightning that we're seeing out there. So again, no watches, no warnings as of right now. And we'll continue to monitor these storms through this morning, but you can see there's a fair amount of lightning. Now, we're up to we're at 600 or so strikes in our region. That's our region. We're going to start here, southwestern Missouri. You can see we've got a pretty good thunderstorm now on the north side of Mount Vernon. And you see that little purple spot that's just northwest of Mount Vernon. So we are getting, and you can see it really across a bigger area here, those little purple squares in there. It's just hail being picked up by the radar. It's small hail. It's below severe limits. Some of it may not really reach the ground, but that's how we're dealing with these thunderstorms this morning. Very heavy rainfall with these storms as well. This is the other one that's just to the west of Pittsburgh now, and it is continuing. We can back it up. It is continuing to lift east-northeast. So Pittsburgh, you'll be getting in on another round of very heavy rain. Jasper, you've got one right on top of it, just north of Carl Junction, Carthage as well. Lamar, you're up next for more of these thunderstorms out there, and they stretch up just to the southwest of Fort Scott. Then out to our west, Yates Center, Iola, Chanute, Fredonia, Erie, Parsons. Right now, the lightning's dropped off, at least cloud-to-ground lightning has, but still dealing with some fairly moderate rainfall out there. Columbus, Oswego, Chautauqua, some heavier rain just immediately around you, back down toward Welch and Veneta. Take a look at some of these thunderstorms. Some are just outside of our area, but Newata, Oologah, Claremore, Chelsea, Langley, Veneta, all of these thunderstorms with, again, quite a bit of lightning, and they're rolling east-northeast. So eventually, Jay, Grove, Fairland, Miami, you'll get in on this activity as well. Sedan, thunderstorms south of you, south of Winfield, and we're watching these storms that are around the Wichita area. As all of this continues to push on off through our area, we're going to watch the storms we have now because they still have that potential to become strong to severe, but we also have to watch all the new development that's taking place out there as well for the potential, again, for strong to severe thunderstorms. Now, all hazards are possible as we head into the afternoon. And again, this outlook is for this afternoon. Once we get past 7 a.m., there's that. We do have a tornado risk out there, as well as the potential for large to very large hail, and then damaging wind gusts will be a concern as well. So the thinking is this complex that we're dealing with this morning should be east of I-49 by the lunch hour, but new thunderstorm development will be taking place. And we could get possibly two lines of storms. One right along and south of I-44. This is where the severe threat would be the greatest. And then another line out through southeast Kansas that could also be strong to severe that'll push through. And once we head into the late evening, we'll have scattered storms overnight, but our severe threat will drop off. We also have concerns with flooding, flood watches across a good portion of the area running through tomorrow morning at the latest at this point. The rain cools back a little up to the north. Yates Center, Neodesha, Chanute, we got some upper 60s up there out ahead of it, even where some of the storms are, still low to mid 70s. So that's just a sign as to how unstable the air is, how much energy there is for these storms. Well, hang out just in the low to mid 70s. Kids going to school, make sure, if they walk to school, so you can get them a ride to school so they don't have to be in this. They're going on the bus, make sure they got a safe place to be with these thunderstorms, because again, the lightning, dangerous and deadly regardless of the storms themselves, if they're severe or not. We'll have these storms continuing again throughout the day, maybe some brief pauses here and there, and our temperature is struggling to make about the mid 70s out there. We'll continue to monitor these storms this morning, break down the details of what we're expecting this afternoon and into Wednesday here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, Pittsburgh State University launches 2 new degree programs focused on supply chains. Getting raw material from one point to another is a specialized set of knowledge. KOAM's Ty Park shows us how these programs will prepare students for high-demand careers in global logistics.
State University is unveiling 2 new degree programs centered on supply chains and industrial demands.
Supply chain, it's always been a critical part of of how we move goods and services across this country and across the world. And it's been part of our education in the Kels College of Business. Now we've just organized it and have added a few things. But getting a product from its inception, from the raw materials to us as final consumers, is a critical element, and it's complex and it's interesting and it's fun. It's a big part of what moves this country.
The supply chain side will focus on the management side with an understanding of the geopolitics that affect the supply chain. It is that global viewpoint that sets this degree apart from other business degrees.
It's specialization. Students become they become aware of the issues and the problems, so they're ready to hit the ground running and take a further leap, get where they want to go faster by specializing in an area such as supply chain or marketing or any other program.
Both degree paths are looking for the same type of student.
So we're looking for students who are problem solvers. We're looking for students who are critical thinkers. Really, we're looking for students who, when everyone else is just seeing a bunch of dots, they see lines between those dots. That's really what they're looking at. They're looking at making connections. They're looking at solving problems.
In Pittsburgh, Ty Parks, KOAM News.
The technology side focuses on modes of transportation and automation from AI to robotics. Enrollment is open for both degree plans now. And the deadline to register for a program inspiring great writers is fast approaching. Crowder College's Young Authors Conference and Book Writing Contest hopes to encourage students in 2nd through 4th grade to unleash their creativity. Organizers send curriculum ideas to participate in classrooms, asking them to have their students write and illustrate an original story. In May, every student participating in the program is invited to the Young Authors Conference, where they can meet local authors and learn how to improve. And that's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, 1,800 Spirit Airlines flight attendants lose their jobs as the company restructures. Plus, images on the internet can have a powerful impact on young minds. We've got some expert advice on dealing with the positive and the negative. We'll have the latest. Time now, 6:37. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. In Consumer Watch, shares of Kenvue, the maker of Tylenol, tumbled more than 7% yesterday. President Trump announced the FDA believes the use of acetaminophen, the active ingredient in Tylenol and many cold and flu medications during pregnancy, can be associated with an increased risk of autism. Though medical experts have said the medication is safe. In a statement to CBS News, Kenvue said, quote, independent sound science clearly shows that taking acetaminophen does not cause autism. Well, Spirit Airlines announced it is putting about 1,800 flight attendants on leave as it cuts flights and restructures the business to reduce costs. The budget carrier has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection twice this year, and airline spokesperson confirmed the furloughs to CBS News after they were first reported in the Wall Street Journal. And Amazon is facing a jury trial in Seattle focusing on allegations by federal regulators that it duped customers into signing up for Prime membership and made it difficult to cancel. The FTC alleges Amazon was part of what it called a years-long effort to trick millions of customers into automatically renewing Prime subscriptions. Amazon denies the accusations. Well, kids can be exposed to a lot of things on social media, from videos to memes, and the images can be both positive and negative. Chris Bryant spoke with school counselors in Southwest Missouri on the signs to look for if kids are struggling with things they've seen online.
Students are exposed to so many things. I mean, both on social media and maybe just out in the world or at home or at school. You never know. But I think the biggest thing to look for are changes.
Signs kids are negatively affected by social media include emotional changes like withdrawal, excessive worrying, and irritability, and behavioral changes such as isolation from family and friends.
There's so much content out there, and it's hard to decipher what's real and what's not. And with AI, things become even more convoluted and hard to interpret.
Other indicators are a lowered self-esteem, self-deprecating comments, and anxiety, as well as neglecting responsibilities and showing a lack of enthusiasm for real-life activities.
So I think it's so important as an educator to know your students and build that rapport, or else you're not going to know that this is different than their norm.
Teachers and counselors see children during the school day and may be some of the first to notice a change.
If a teacher or staff member is reaching out to a parent, they are really just trying to be a teammate. And so just trying to problem solve for resources and get the child the help that they may or may not need.
If your child is asking questions, experts say be curious, not judgmental.
I think it's great. It's great to, show, listen with unconditional positive regard. And I think that's really what it is. You're letting them lead and you're listening and providing a safe space for a student to really communicate openly without the fear of rejection.
While Missouri and Oklahoma both lack comprehensive laws regulating youth and social media, Kansas does have laws against cyberbullying and age verification for potentially harmful content. Arkansas recently passed a law aimed at providing privacy protections for those under 17. The new law takes effect on July 1st, 2026. That's Look at Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we actually have that strong thunderstorm is now pushing into Pittsburgh as we speak. We got some gusty winds. It's been shaking our camera around, and look at that lightning. Just moments ago, an intense lightning strike back toward the water tower there. This lightning is dangerous. It is deadly. The storms We do not have any current thunderstorm warnings of any kind, but it is still a potential through the morning and throughout today for strong to severe thunderstorms as this activity continues to push through the area. Right now, again, the biggest concern is with that potential for dangerous and deadly lightning as we head out the door for school, for work. So just make sure you're taking precautions. We're going to break down details on the storms we're getting now and what we're expecting for the see. That's what we're talking about there. Very intense lightning. We'll break down all the details for you when we come back. Time now is 6:44. All right, time for some Tuesday birthdays. We're going to start in Joplin with Cameron Allen celebrating birthday number 12. Says, happy birthday, love you lots from Grandma and Grandpa.
And a happy 22nd birthday to Hunter McCaffrey, also in Joplin. It says here, happy birthday, we love you from Mom, Sean, and Grayson.
And Samantha Kachow in Parsons celebrating birthday number 30 today. Says, happy birthday from your sister Shelby, love you.
And happy 49th birthday to Brad Baldwin in Oswego. It says here, happy birthday, we love you.
And back to Parsons we go for Cindy Triber celebrating birthday number 66 today. Happy birthday.
And a happy 69th birthday to Monty Cowardin over in Riverton.
And in McCune, Danny Egbert celebrating birthday number 70 says, happy birthday to my wonderful husband.
And a happy 2nd anniversary in Jasper to Andrew and Jalen Schweikert.
And in Fort Scott, James Malvo. I hope I'm saying that right, James, but you've got a very cool car, very cool picture, and a very happy birthday to you in Fort Scott. Another great list of birthdays and even an anniversary in there. And if you'd like to celebrate with us, Elise has information you need to take down.
Yes, please submit your birthdays and your anniversaries to birthdays at KOAMNewsNow.com. Be sure to meet the deadline at the bottom of your screen, and also please include the date of your celebration as well.
Very important information there. And we are going to talk about our weather. First, we're starting with a live look from downtown Pittsburgh. We have a thunderstorm pushing through Pittsburgh. The lightning has just been absolutely incredible with these storms this morning. So that's the biggest concern. Again, right now, no warnings, no watches in place, but the lightning, which you can see there in downtown, is very intense. So we're heading to school, we're heading to work. You've got to make sure you're taking appropriate precautions. Like I've said all morning, if your kids walk to school, maybe you could drive them or they could get a ride. So they don't have to walk in this. If you're taking them to the bus, maybe keep them in the car if you can, or maybe if you're lucky and the bus stops right outside your house, keep them inside. Just either way, and as you're heading to work, make sure you're taking precautions. Don't dilly-dally out there. Just get in your car and get to work, okay? Because this lightning is dangerous, deadly. We're talking an incredible amount of lightning. Quick look from our camera 7th and Rangeline. Now in Joplin, things have toned down a bit. Still getting some rain. Seeing all the lightning off to the northwest from the storm that's getting ready or is pushing into Pittsburgh right now. And the MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline, also still some showers out there. Thunderstorm activity in Joplin has wound down. Again, as you can see, no watches, no warnings at this time, but here's a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. In our region, we're at 526 lightning strikes. We're going to start here again in southwestern Missouri, where we have this line of storms from Halltown back up toward Jasper, and it's part of what's connecting into the storm rolling into Pittsburgh right now. And you can see all of this lightning out there. And some of these storms have been producing these little purple squares you see, some small hail, not all of it necessarily reaching the ground, but radar has been picking up on at least some small hail with some of these storms, still again below severe limits, but it is showing up out there. And we've got this thunderstorm that's rolling into the Pittsburgh area and Frontenac right now, bringing again quite a bit of cloud to ground lightning out there. In fact, just in the Pittsburgh area, it's 57 lightning strikes in a pretty confined spot. So that's why we've been talking all morning about the lightning itself being dangerous, even if these storms aren't severe. Got another heavier shower rolling through Columbus right now. We're getting some gusty winds, again, below severe limits, but seeing some gusty winds out there as well. Miami, you are up next for thunderstorms coming in from Welch, Fairland. You'll be into it before too much longer. Veneta in the thick of it. In fact, good portion of the Will Rogers Turnpike, if your commute takes you down toward Tulsa, you need to be prepared for that. Langley getting in on these thunderstorms as well, just south of Nowata. And then as we head back to the north, a good chunk of southeast Kansas. Some good news, at least for now. The thunderstorms have wound down. There could be cloud-to-cloud lightning, which Skywatch Storm Tracker does not pick up. You see there's no lightning strikes in the southeast Kansas, but we are also monitoring this impressive group of thunderstorms getting ready to roll into Wichita just west of I-35, because that will eventually track our way as well. And you can see how quickly, again, this line of storms just flared up. It's now all starting to lift northeast, and if that continues, then these thunderstorms here in the northeastern Oklahoma will eventually come up the turnpike into into southwestern Missouri. And of course, these thunderstorms in Pittsburgh rolling into Barton County, eventually Nevada. You're going to get in on the action as well. And then, as I mentioned, we've got to watch any new development that takes place out here because we have that threat for strong to severe thunderstorms today. This is heading into this afternoon. This is the outlook for after 7 a.m. We have the isolated to scattered tornado risk out there, so it's not out of the question. It's not a very high risk. That's good, but unfortunately, there is that threat out there. We also have the chance for large to very large hail in these hatch marks and for damaging wind gusts. So here's what we're looking at on the future track now. So we'll have this batch of storms that we're dealing with now is expected to be east of I-49 by the lunch hour, but we'll get additional thunderstorm development out there, and we could see a couple of lines of storms develop that will also bring in their own severe risk. One, here we are at 3. So here's one. Just getting underway into southeastern Kansas. The other, you can see around Veneta, expected to develop along and south of the I-44 corridor. And these could be strong to severe with the greater severe threat with this activity south of I-44. But these storms could also be strong to severe as they push off to the east into the evening. So by 7, they're crossing into Missouri. By 8, 9 o'clock, they're starting to wind down. Once we get past 8 or 9, we've still got scattered storms. And we will have scattered storms overnight tonight into our Wednesday, but our severe threat will drop. And as of right now for our Wednesday, while we are expecting more scattered storms out there through the day, we're not looking at any severe threat at this point, which is some good news. We also have flood watches for a good portion of the area through at least tomorrow morning as well. I think we're just going to kind of hover low to mid 70s throughout the day. Thunderstorms as we continue through the morning and into the afternoon. We'll, of course, continue to track these storms this morning. Any watches or warnings pop up, we will let you know. And when we transition over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., the TikTok takeover is complete. American investors now control 80% of the social media giant. Why the ownership transfer won't disrupt your feed.
Well, this is your Wake Up recap for September 23rd. The top stories to start your day. Neosho is one of 15 Missouri communities receiving grants totaling more than $16 million from the state's Community Development Block Grant Program. The funding stems from recovery efforts following the 2017 presidentially declared disaster storms that impacted the region. Neosho's grant will build new retention ponds aimed at easing floodwaters that have damaged neighborhoods and businesses in the past. That's a check of today's Wake Up recap.
And we'll continue to deal with thunderstorms through the day. Some of these could be strong to severe, so we want to watch them closely. Low mid 70s out there for our highs. Scattered storms will continue through the evening. Once we get past about 8, 9 o'clock, our severe threat will drop off, but we'll still have some scattered storms overnight. Low to mid 60s. More scattered storms throughout the day on Wednesday, but again, no severe risk areas highlighted for Wednesday, which is certainly some good news. Mid 70s. We'll go upper 70s, start to dry out by Thursday, and we'll continue the drying trend heading into the upcoming weekend. Temperatures warm up a bit, low mid 80s, and then start coming back down to slightly more seasonable levels by next week.
All right, and coming up today at noon, we're making grilled cheese tomato soup bake in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOM with CBS Mornings. Cutting through all the confusion, Dr. John LaPuch joins the show to help break down President Trump's and the FDA's announcement that they believe there's a link between the active ingredient in Tylenol and autism.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues this morning. Charlene Patton with the Kansas Soybean Commission joins us to make banana oatmeal muffins.
And the next generation of space explorers reports for duty. NASA's newest astronaut class begins training with Mars missions in their sights. So very interesting there as well. And of course, these storms, nothing severe at this point, but if that changes, we will certainly break in on both stations and keep you updated throughout the day. That's going to do it for now. We'll be back with more news and weather at noon.
Yes.